Good one. Welcome to today's episode of Window Treatment Friday Live. We are going live on a new platform again for the second time this week. So I just want to make sure everything is working. All our ducks in a row are working. So let me just check here. Yep, we're live on Instagram as well. So good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to WTF Live. Today is going to be a solo episode for me. I'm Kim. I am from WindowWorks. We're located in Livingston, New Jersey. My co-host and industry bestie, she is on a long week install up in New Hampshire with her team. So if you want to follow along on all the window treatment goodies that have been going on up there, head on over to Vitalia Inc.'s Instagram and follow her stories because it is amazing what her team has been doing these past couple days and the transformation of the project with all the window treatments that they added. So today what I wanted to do, I wanted to take a time out. If you have been a long time watcher of Window Treatment Friday Live, Vida and I used to do a segment where we would do a designer highlight and we would pick designers, whether ones that we've done their work, their window treatments, or designers that we are just admiring from afar via social media and whatnot. So I kind of wanted to bring that back a little bit this week. I wanted to do something a little bit special. We have two designers that we have the luxury and the privilege of doing their window treatments, and their work and their projects have been published in the new House Beautiful Living Colorfully book. So this is the picture there on the cover of the presentation, but this is the actual book here. I have a copy of it, and the two designers that we have that are featured in this are Kesha Franklin from Halden Interiors and Maureen Ursino of Ursino Interiors. So it's pretty cool when we found out that they actually were going to be featured in this book. So when the book first came out a couple weeks ago, I knew I immediately had to get it to support these two fabulous women. And what was interesting was going through it and seeing all the seeing the window treatments that we created for their projects and really getting to know what was going on behind the scenes and what it took to get their designs from, pencil and paper and from the mind into real life. So when we see our designers, whether they get published in a magazine or in a book, it's really cool to kind of go through that experience with them. And just it's big kudos to them. And I'm so extremely proud. So today I wanted to give a shout out to the two of those extremely talented and fabulous ladies and highlight the book that they are published in. It is a really great book. It has a lot of design inspiration, a lot of window treatment inspiration through this. I love going through and seeing all the different design aesthetics throughout the entire country. You have things from all over, from East Coast, West Coast. And I always love getting a new design book to kind of see what's kind of out there. What are the trends? What are people doing nowadays? So if you're ever kind of like in a design rut or whatever, my biggest go-to is just to pick up whatever the newest coffee table book is and just kind of go through it. It's just going to get a little bit of inspiration. So today we're going to feature both of the projects that are in this book. And we are going to start with here. We're going to start with Kesha Franklin of Halden Interiors. She just opened up her new store, her new office in Montclair. So it's really great to see where Kesha has been going. And with this particular project, it was done on the waterfront here in Jersey in Weehawken. And her project is featured on page 46 in the book. So if you are going to run out and get a copy, Kesha's is on page 46. So this is Miss Kesha Franklin, the very, very talented. So there it is here. Oop. So you can see it right there in the book. That's what you're seeing here is a bedroom shot. And what we did for the project is we did the window treatments in the living room, dining room area. So what you're seeing here is a shot of the dining room there. And this is just a better shot now. These are actually, before were the pictures of the photos in the book that Stephanie put together for us. And now this is a shot here. So what you're seeing is a profile view of the dining room, and you have the kitchen right behind it there. And what we did was we did wall to wall ripple fold draperies. This apartment has spectacular views of Manhattan, and this client was this client, her window expanse is basically the whole width of the apartment, which is really great because when you're buying condos in Jersey, I feel like the Jersey side really has the better view because you really get the view of New York City. So when people are buying apartments on the water in Manhattan and you're looking at Jersey, I mean, there's stuff you can look at, but I feel like on the Jersey side, that's the side you want to buy on because your view is the city. So what we did there was the Kesha had put solar screens in the windows for the light, but then we also in the kitchen, but it was all about framing the view and not blocking the view too much because again, with this condo, it is all about the view. So we did wall to wall sheer drapery panels that we installed on a non-decorative track into that kind of ceiling soffit area there. And you can kind of see it there, and you're seeing it here in the book. So you're seeing the sheer right behind the sofa there. And it was very important trying to figure out what the stack was going to be in a situation like this. Because again, I know I'm sounding a little repetitive, but it was all about the view. So we didn't want to cover too much of the view. And so we went with the ripple fold since it would have a little bit of more of a tighter stack, and it went with the contemporary elements that Kesha had in the space. When we're designing window treatments for Kesha and her projects, she really likes the look of the ripple fold because it is a little bit more on the contemporary side, and she has a little bit more of a contemporary aesthetic. And then, so this is a shot now, an actual head-on photography shot, not in the book. So you can see where the panel just kind of acts like a backdrop to the living room area. It's a lightweight sheer that we put that you still, when the sheers are closed, you still can enjoy the view of the city, but it still kind of diffuses a light because with where this condo is located in the building, privacy really isn't an issue. It's more about light control. So when designing for windows or doors in condos, it's kind of, we go into that whole conversation of what's important here. In a situation like this, nobody's looking into the apartment. There's no way to see into the condo. So it was all about when the sun comes up and it gets really hot, how can we help diffuse the light, make the space look beautiful, and create something that is a backdrop for the living room and dining room area of the space. So again, we just went with a non-decorative ceiling mounted ripple fold rod that we installed into the soffit there. We selected white so it would disappear. We didn't go with any kind of decorative traversing rod because there's no need for it. We really, the hero here is the view, and the sheer is just kind of framing it out. So we didn't want any kind of attention drawn to the drapery hardware. So we just kept it simple. And I think it came out really great. And it was such an honor and a pleasure to work on this project with Kesha. I love seeing, normally I don't really get to see the projects at the end in person, but I happen to have to stop by we were working on another space in the condo. So I got to see what the living room looked like. I normally see everything in construction or, the preliminary phases before the wallpaper is up, any of the furniture is in. I see it all in sample form and in the presentation form, but I never actually get to see it in person. And what she created in this space is just amazing and chef's kiss. And yeah, we love working with Kesha and her team. And we love being able to create the window treatments for her projects. And so this was definitely one of my favorites to work on with her. And I just feel like it turned out amazing. So again, her project is featured on page 46 of the House Beautiful Living or Live Colorfully book. All right. One quick commercial break here before we move on to our next project that we want to feature here. If you are new to window treatments, we have an ebook on our website. 10 things, Architectural Digest is a coming 10 things you need to know about custom window treatments. Luann wrote this ebook many years ago, but it still stands true to this day. It's kind of like a window treatment 101 guide. So whether you're an interior designer who just started out and you're really starting to get into window treatments, or if you're a homeowner that you're thinking, I want to redo my window treatments, or you purchased your first home and you just don't know where to start. You don't know the language, what's a drape versus what's a Roman shade or a relaxed Roman shade, head on over to our website and download this free 101 guide, if you will, to kind of help you get started on your window treatment journey. Okay, let's go back. The next project, this is the lovely Maureen Ursino of Ursino Interiors. So her project in the book is on page 26. So if you're just joining us now, just a real quick recap. Today I'm doing a solo episode and I'm kind of bringing it back a little old school to do a designer highlight. And two of the designers at Window Works has the privilege of creating their window treatments for them. Kesha Franklin, who we just showed her project, and now Maureen Ursino, their projects are featured in the House Beautiful Live Colorfully book. And so I really wanted to highlight them and, give them props because these projects were a labor of love and they turned out amazingly. And it's just something that I wanted to feature today on my solo episode because the book just came out. So the book is available on Amazon. So if you want any design inspiration, I highly, highly suggest getting your copy. When I got it 2 weeks ago, I started going through it and it just kind of gave me that creative push that I feel like I've been lacking. I know a lot of times we can kind of be on a hamster wheel and go, go, go mode. And I feel like when you get a new design book, you're looking at things from a different perspective, different design point of views. So for me, this was definitely one that had a lot of window treatment inspiration and a lot of things that I'm like, maybe I'll bring this to our ideas that I'll bring to other designers that we do their window treatments and clients and just say, hey, what if we tried this? So Maureen's project again is on page 26. And this project that we did here, what we're going to show you is the book version of it. And then we'll show you the actual images of it. So this here, her cover shot is of the living room of this project where we did stationary window treatments on French return rods. Let me just see one thing right here. Okay, perfect. So this is a better shot of it, an actual photography image of it. So what we did here is we did just stationary velvet panels on French return rods. And as you can see here, Maureen went for a very monochromatic look where the walls, the crown molding, the ceiling are all painted the same color. So when it came time to picking the drapery hardware, it was very important to Maureen that it didn't stand out, just kind of like what we did with Kesha and in her client space with the ripple fold track. The hero here really wasn't about the drapery hardware or the drapes, really. It was about making the drapes be the supporting role, if you would, and acting as a backdrop for the space. And so here she just selected a green velvet drape, and we just popped stationary panels on either side. What you're not seeing here is there's another window that is the direct copy on the other side of the sofa there, single window that we did a single panel on the outer side of each window. And then there's a larger window in the front that we also, again, did stationary panels. Now here, because of all the crown molding detail, the challenge was where to put the drapery rod and did we have a clear mounting space for our back plate. for the French return rod. So what was really cool with this project is we worked very closely with the contractor and carpenter who were working on the molding details to really say, okay, for my back plate, I need X amount of inches in order for it to fit and to fit nicely. So we went through all those details in the building and planning phase so that when the installation happened and all the pretty stuff was going on, we didn't run into any issues. And these are things that, look, when you have the opportunity in the building phase, I always find that it's very important to bring your window treatment specialist on ahead of time. And I know for us here at Window Works, we don't mind and we actually prefer to go on to projects multiple times to hash out these details to make sure that when Billy, our installer, comes, we don't run into any issue and he says, well, I can't really hang the rod here because there is this decorative detail on the crown molding and I don't have a flat surface. And if, you know, I'm going to have to do this and it's not going to look right. So Maureen brought us in very early on into the project when it was going through the building phase where we could sit there with everyone and hash out these particular details and say, this is what I need in order for it to fit and to look right. So it's one of the reasons why I love working with interior designers, because we go through all those details and those are the kind of details that really get me excited. So this is a shot of the living room here. And then this is also another part. Again, we featured what it looks like in the book. So what you're seeing here on the left is a flat Roman shade that we did for the homeowner has two little girls, and this is their bathroom. So we did just a simple, clean line, flat Roman shade made out of a really pretty pattern. It's just a very sweet and serene bathroom. And Maureen and her team did a really great job of just creating a space that they can grow into. It's not something that is too young and where they're gonna, feel like when they get a little bit older, like, really, this is our bathroom. It's just very mature and very grown up. And I just feel like it's such a serene space. And again, being able to see what the end result looks like, because I really saw this project from construction. So when I get to see the beautiful photos, it's like, oh, that's what that looks like. So it's really great for me to be able to see the end result. Unfortunately, sometimes, like I said before, I don't really get to see it in person. So here for the Roman shade that we did, it was all about where to install it to create a little bit of height in the window. You can see here that there are different angled ceilings or different angles in the ceiling. And if you are a avid watcher of Window Treatment Friday Live, you know that Vita and I, we always like to go up, up, up. So anything that we can do to make the window feel taller, to make the room feel taller, that is our goal. So because of where the window fell with the ceiling line, we wanted to bring the Roman shade up as high as possible. So that way the window didn't feel so squatty because the ceiling line was going down on that side. So we opted to put it up as high as we possibly could. It was kind of like in a niche. It wasn't really like an inside outside mount. There wasn't any molding around the window type of thing. So we brought it up to that ceiling line. We just did a simple light filtering Roman, and it had a very beautiful, simple, small scale pattern. And before, what you saw from the book, you saw a shot of the dining room. This photo actually isn't featured in the book, but we wanted to feature it because on the presentation, just so that you can really appreciate the rest of the view of that space. So let me go back real quick, 2 slides back. So what you're seeing here on the right hand side, that other green room, so that's across the hall or across the foyer, really, from the living room. And what you're seeing here is you're just seeing a corner view of the dining room space. So you're seeing the green walls with the beams. But Stephanie and I thought, well, this room is really gorgeous, so we really want to feature the other shot of it. So this is the full-on view of the dining room when you're coming from the kitchen. So what you're seeing here, what we did here was a pair of stationary panels. The client didn't need privacy. We went back and forth on whether or not what level of privacy they needed, but Maureen really wanted the window treatments to feel very full and very luxe. So they almost can close, but we only made them so that they were just full enough. And this was one of the bigger challenges here, was to create a pocket that looked intentional and looked like it was part of the ceiling detail, because again, you can see the details here in all the moldings on the walls and on the ceiling. So we went in, again, early stages. I went once by myself when we were kind of mapping it out. And then when we had an idea, I brought Billy back with me. And between Bill, myself, Maureen, and the contractor, we were able to come up with a way to create this pocket where the non-decorative rod was installed behind the beam. You didn't see it. It didn't interrupt this detail of the ceiling. So again, these are the things that I love to do on the front end of a project, is really get down and dirty and figure out these details. And it is okay. Designers, don't feel like you can't ask your window treatment specialist for help when it's in these beginning stages of the window treatment or the design phase. That's what we're here to do. We love to be able to help you on the front end and hash out all those details, as opposed to coming in midway through and being like, well, this would have really been great if I had 6 inches or whatever the case is. So we were able to, given on what Maureen wanted, what she wanted the drapes to do with the width and how far out she wanted them to go on the wall, then we had to figure out, okay, the beams are going to come in X amount of feet, the beams are X amount of size, this is our mounting space and all this. So we really think that this space came out amazing. Again, I feel like, to me, I might be a little biased because I love working with these very talented designers. I really feel like they both did a really great job on both of these projects. And yeah, so it's really truly an honor and a blessing that we have here to work with not only Kesha and Maureen, but all the designers that we have the privilege of bringing their window treatments and their vision to life. So it's one of my favorite parts of my job. Okay, so that concludes my solo episode today. Again, I was the designer highlight, something that Vita and I used to do at the beginning of Window Treatment Friday Live, and I just kind of wanted to bring it back to highlight this book that Kesha and Maureen are featured in, and a couple of our window treatment projects. So it's very fun when we see our work in print like this. So a big congratulations to you both. It was, again, an honor and a privilege to work with you on this project. A lot of you may not know this, but I went to school for interior design many years ago. And I kind of fell into window treatments about 14 years ago when I started working here at Window Works. And what I love about being in this part of the industry is, had I gone the route of working for an interior designer and done that with my career, I really would have been working with one design aesthetic, essentially. And being here at Window Works and doing all the window treatments that we do for the array of designers that we create their window treatments, I really can flex my creative muscles and work with all different types of design aesthetic, from super contemporary to super traditional. And that's what's really been the fun part about doing this the last 14 years, is being able to see different design elements, and it's never the same design over and over again, whether you're working for one firm or it just helps keep my creative mind going. And so to all the designers out there that we do your window treatments and your work for, thank you again for trusting us to bring your vision to life. And so this is a testament of what it feels like to work with all these very talented designers. And if you are in the Philadelphia, Bucks County area, please give Vita a call. Vita is to the trade only window treatment fabricator. She works with Again, also really amazing designer. She is not here today because she is doing a project for one of her longtime designers up in New Hampshire. She had a project up in New Hampshire, so Vita and her team traveled there on Monday, and they're wrapping up the installation today. So Vita, I missed you, and I can't wait to see the finished product of everything that you've been installing all week. And before we let you go, Vita also has a free ebook on her website. It's a curated lookbook for you with 37 and a half looks for you to steal, swipe, and borrow on your next design project. So head on over to vitaliainc.com where you can download your free copy today. And before we let you go, or before I let you go, this whole Window Treatment Friday really stemmed from Luann's podcast, A Well-Designed Business. Luann and Vita would do a recurring episode of Window Treatment Friday for the Power Talk Friday feature of Luann's podcast, where they would talk about the business side of interior design or of window treatments, excuse me. So in that birthed this child's of Window Treatment Friday Live. And Luann has also created another podcast because why not? And she has Window Treatments for Profits. So this podcast is really based on the window treatment side of it's really window treatment facing, where a well-designed business is more on the interior facing. This is more for window treatments. And Vita, my lovely Vita, my friend and colleague, she has a reoccurring host spot for Luann. She has an episode that comes out every week where it's Vita's tip in 10, or she just kind of gives you a 10-minute nugget on things that she's experienced in the window treatment industry. And it really can be applied to not just window treatments, but any business in general. So head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to Window Treatments for Profits. So this way you won't miss Vita's weekly episodes. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming along with me on this designer highlight. Again, grab your copy of the House Beautiful, Live Colorfully. You won't regret it, and you will definitely get a lot of design inspiration. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next Friday with my co-host, Vita.